Hi everybody, my name is Charlotte Legros and today I will present you a summarized version of my dissertation on the similarities between verbal and musical languages and the process of learning language through music. Before comparing musical and verbal languages, it is important to understand that defining music is rather complicated. Indeed, the conception itself can only be understood within cultural, time and geographical frame. As an example, music movements such as Italian, German or Romantic music are always embedded within a historical frame. Indeed, when looking into dictionaries from different periods in history, I found out that the definition of music was really time-related. It was first considered a science, a set of knowledge, deeply connected with the Christian liturgy. According to Saint Augustine, music was God's mysterious language. However, nowadays, music is looked at as an autonomous art, able to reflect socio-cultural aspects and express feelings as a proper linguistic code. Human language is the faculty to communicate and express itself through a complex code, which is the language, like German or Italian. Spoken language is a set of vocal signs on phonetic, morphological, syntactic and lexical conventions which rule the linguistic acts within a cultural group. Human language is also the faculty to express through many non-verbal ways, for example, symbols, gesture and signs. It is basically all the means to communicate and express an idea through stylistic codes. Music, also being a way to communicate an idea or a feeling through stylistic codes, can also be seen as a language. According to Alberto Cima, music is a language, and as every other art, it conveys ideas, emotions and behavior through specific codes. Let's now talk further about the similarities between music and language. If we focus on music and language's purposes, the first thing to note is that they are both ways to communicate. The musicologist Luigi Petrovelli wrote on this: the first and most important element between both languages is the sound, specifically the production of the sound through the voice or the substantial means of communication for both. Basically, both languages use the same communication channel, audio-vocal, and both can produce an unlimited amount of sentences. And they both have the same structural elements, like height, rhythm, and timbre. Moreover, both are built up with a syntax ruled by norms, especially regarding the musical conventions, which use an even larger spectrum of rules. To sum up, the musical language is a set of rules, a system of signs which can easily be compared to what grammar is to verbal language. Otto Garogli, a French musicologist, highlighted in his book The Grammar of Music these similarities. He compares the punctuation of writing with the musical cadences, syllables with notes, and words with musical chords. The main difference between verbal language and music lies in the meaning. Both express something, but one is rational, whereas the other is not. Music is a language that we speak and understand, but that we can't translate. When it comes to language learning, it seems that music plays a fundamental role in the acquisition process. The acquisition process takes place through different cognitive strategies that vary from individual to individual. In second language learning, factors such as the learner's age, their social background, their learning conditions, and motivation are decisive. Before the age of 7, the musical ear of a child is more developed than that of adults, who, when it comes to listening, are restricted by their cultural background. This means that the ear is initially receptive to all sounds, and afterwards becomes selective, until it only hears the sounds and rhythms of its usual linguistic environment. Hence, age is an important factor, but it doesn't constitute a barrier to second language learning. The professor Tomatis has observed that all languages use sound frequency areas, called bandwidth. The frequency is a factor that assigns a certain height in a sound. The wider the bandwidth of a language, the more the ear is capable of perceiving the set of rhythms and sounds in order to reproduce them correctly, which means without accent. For example, the French and Italians are not naturally gifted when it comes to learning foreign languages, because their bandwidth is restricted, and prevents them from perceiving and reproducing sound accurately. On the contrary, Slavic languages have a much wider bandwidth, so Slavs in general find it easier to learn a second language. Thus, the ear can become sensitive to new sounds from other languages through its education to different bandwidth. Motivation is another decisive factor in learning, and is mainly influenced by outer and inner stimuli. The interdisciplinary approach is a recurrent method in schools. It refers to a subject that covers skills from different disciplines. Interdisciplinary between music and foreign languages often takes place through singing and songs. Indeed, songs have some features that help fixing linguistic structures in the memory, at syntactic, lexical, and semantic level. Indeed, the recursion of the words, the chorus and rhyme, underlined by the rhythm, all contribute to the formation of a cyclic pattern, and therefore to repetition, that facilitates memorization. In addition, listening and studying songs encourages interaction in the classroom, and promotes the development of positive social dynamics related to the sharing of knowledge, interests, and passions. Moreover, learning a foreign language through music adds an element of fun. In this way, learning becomes a game for children and increases their motivation. The contribution of music also helps to develop a musical ear, and thus to work on pronunciation, diction, and intonation. Music is often closely linked to this factor, as it brings back memories, moments, or periods in one's life. In this way, songs can work on the intrinsic motivation, which is linked to pleasure and curiosity, in order to generate a stable and sustainable language learning over time. All this makes music a complete and ideal didactic aid for teaching foreign language that should assume a more significant role in schools.